Kale's breath was hot against my neck as he clung to me like I was the only thing keeping him alive. His rut kept rolling through him in waves, but he wasn't rough. He wasn't wild. He was trembling like someone fighting himself every second. "Jace," he whispered. "Please, don't leave me." His arms tightened around my waist. I froze. His forehead rested on my shoulder and his heartbeat pounded fast. "I'm not leaving," I whispered back, even though my own heart was jumping like it wanted to run out of my chest. Kale exhaled shakily as if those words were the only medicine he needed. He didn't mark me. He didn't force anything. He just held me closely. After a few more seconds, his body finally relaxed. The tension melted from his shoulders as he nuzzled my neck, so gently it almost didn't feel real. A soft groan escaped him, not from desire but relief. Then slowly, Kale slumped forward, falling asleep right in my arms. "Seriously?" I muttered. "You couldn't wait to fall apart until after letting me get comfortable on the bed?" But he didn't answer. He was already knocked out, clinging to me like a giant, muscular koala. I sighed and tried to move him. Bad idea. His arm tightened instantly, trapping me against him. He called me mine. I thought I heard him wrongly. My heart did a backflip. "You're asleep. You don't even know what you're saying," I whispered, even though a tiny traitorous part of me liked hearing it. I tried again to shift him. But nope. Kale wasn't having it. So that's how I ended up spending the night, half pinned, half hugged, fully confused. But the real chaos happened in the morning. The morning after. I woke up to Kale's face dangerously close to mine. His hair was messy, his breathing soft, and he had one leg thrown over me like I was his personal body pillow. He opened his eyes, then said that one sentence that nearly made me fall off the bed. "Thanks for staying. You calmed me more than medicine." My brain froze completely. "You're welcome," I muttered, trying to hide the smile forming on my face. Kale suddenly leaned closer. "Jace," he whispered. "Last night, did I kiss you?" My soul left my body. "Yes, you did," I replied back, heart thumping. "Was it good?" he asked shamelessly. "Mr. Kale, please." He burst into laughter cause of my reaction. The man who rarely smiled was now laughing because of me. For the rest of the morning, Kale acted strangely gentle with me. Not clingy. Not possessive. Just soft. He kept brushing my shoulder whenever he walked past, checking if I was hydrated, asking if I slept well, and giving small smiles like he didn't realize he was doing it. I tried not to read meaning into it, but my chest kept reacting before my brain could stop it. But everything flipped that afternoon. I was in the library returning some files Kale asked me to organize, when Peter suddenly blocked the door with his arm. Well, he said with a slow grin. "I've been looking for you." I frowned. "Why? Why not?" He stepped closer, too close. "You're always around, Kale, but you barely talk to me." "That's because you make everything a bit tough for me," I replied bluntly. He laughed, brushing imaginary dust from my sleeve. "You're cute when you pretend you're not flustered." "I'm not," I replied sharply. He suddenly grabbed my wrist, firm and possessive. The kind of hold that didn't feel like a joke anymore. "Jace," he said softly, "I want to get closer to you. You don't have to stay glued to Kale all the time. Come to my place tonight. We can talk without him around." My stomach tightened. I tried to pull my hand away. Peter tightened his grip. "Let go of my arm," I said, but he leaned forward, lips almost brushing my ear. "I can make you feel cared for. Kale's too cold for you." My heart dropped. That was when a shadow fell across us. A cold one. A dangerous one. His voice came first, low and stern. "Take your hand off him." Peter froze, then turned slowly, smirking. "Relax, Kale. We were just talking." Kale stepped forward, placing himself between us so sharply that Peter had to step back or get crushed. His eyes were dark. Not rut dark, but something else. Something territorial. "Jace doesn't want you touching him," Kale said. "So don't." Peter shrugged. "So you're speaking for him now?" Kale's jaw flexed. "I don't speak for him. I protect him." The whole library went silent. My heart slammed into my ribs. Peter's smirk faltered for the first time. "So now you care about him?" Kale didn't blink. "More than you ever will." I swear. The air cracked in half. Peter's eyes narrowed. We'll see about that. And with that he walked out. The door closed and Kale finally turned toward me. He looked furious, but not at me. At himself. At everything. Did he hurt you? He asked sharply. No, I said. He just grabbed my wrist. Kale's eyes darkened again, this time with something protective and burning. He took my wrist gently, inspecting it like it was fragile glass. You don't let anyone hold you like that, he muttered. Especially not him. I swallowed. Why do you care so much? Kale exhaled slowly like he was fighting himself again. Then, in the softest voice I'd ever heard from him, he said, because last night wasn't a mistake for me. My entire soul paused. He stepped closer, carefully giving me room to pull back if I wanted. I didn't. I don't want anyone making you uncomfortable, he continued. I don't want anyone trying to take advantage of you. And I especially don't want anyone else thinking they have the right to be close to you that way. My voice came out quiet. That sounds like jealousy. Kale smirked faintly, eyes lowering to mine. Maybe it is. My heartbeat did cartwheels. Then he added, almost whispering, I'm going to take better care of you from now on. I should have been doing that all along. And for the first time ever, Kale reached out and tucked my hair behind my ear. I'm not letting Peter near you again, he said softly. For the next few days, everything around me turned into a battlefield. And I was the territory both sides wanted to claim. It started small. Peter came to the front desk with a bouquet of bright lilies, smiling like he was trying too hard. These reminded me of you, he said calmly. I didn't want to take them, but the receptionists were already watching, whispering and giggling. I forced a polite smile and accepted the flowers, wanting the moment to end quickly. But not even 1 hour later, Kale walked in, hands in pockets, expression blank, and dropped a gigantic bouquet on the counter. Roses, lilies, orchids, flowers I'd never even seen before were on the table. The bouquet was taller than the counter and blocked half my face. Everyone gasped. Kale simply said, You like flowers, right? Then walked off as if he hadn't just started an entire war. The next day, Peter brought me a pair of expensive sneakers. They suit you, he said. I wanted to refuse. But again, everyone stared. And by afternoon, Kale struck back with silent brutality. A hotel staff wheeled in 10 boxes of designer shoes. I nearly fainted. These are from Mr. Kale, the staff said. He ordered them with express delivery. My life was turning into a competition I never asked for. The following morning, Peter left chocolates on my table. Kale sent the entire store. Peter gave me a bracelet. Kale sent a full jewelry set worth more than my rent for 3 years. Peter brought me breakfast. Kale ordered the hotel chef to prepare a private bouquet just for me, with my name carved into the fruit. Even the guests were starting to notice. Oh, look, it's Jace. The one with 2 alphas chasing him. They whispered. Rumors grew louder and my head felt like it was going to explode. By the middle of the week, I couldn't take it anymore. Each morning felt like opening a new episode of a show that I never agreed to star in. The staffs gossiped as the delivery boxes piled up behind the reception desk like I was celebrating 10 birthdays at once. I wanted peace, but instead I was stuck between 2 alphas who seemed determined to outdo each other until one of them collapsed. Every time they met in the hallway, the temperature dropped instantly. Glares, snide comments. Heavy pheromone tension thick enough to choke a whale. One time Peter shoved a gift bag at me and before I even unwrapped it, Kale snatched it, checked the content, and tossed it aside like junk. I finally snapped. I went to the staff lounge, dropped onto a chair, and covered my face with both hands. This is exhausting, I muttered. It wasn't just the gifts. It was the intent. The tension and rivalry. The way they looked at me like I was something rare, delicate, and valuable. Something they wanted to keep. And I didn't know if I should feel flattered or terrified. Probably both. Every time Kale brushed past me, I felt my stomach twist. Every time Peter smiled a little too softly, my chest tightened. I didn't want to be a prize. I didn't want to be fought over like some shiny object. A small part of me wondered if this was how it felt to be wanted. I took a deep breath and leaned back, hoping the drama would end soon. But I had a feeling that chapter in my life was only just beginning. By the next morning, I felt like my soul had packed its bags and left my body. I couldn't breathe without one of them showing up with a gift, a glare, or a new reason for my coworkers to whisper behind my back. While I was wiping tables in the lounge, the hotel's beta manager, Ms. Rena, walked up to me quietly. She was one of the few people who didn't treat me like a walking pheromone bomb. She stopped in front of me, crossed her arms, and sighed. "You look like you're carrying 2 fully grown alphas on your back." I groaned internally. "Exactly. I don't know what to do," I muttered. "If I show kindness to one, the other gets tense. If I ignore both, they fight even harder. I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of a storm I didn't create." She glanced around to make sure no one was listening, then leaned closer. "Jace, if you want my advice, disappear." I blinked. "Disappear?" She nodded. "Fake a resignation. Tell HR you're done. But don't say anything to either of the alphas. Then stay home for a few weeks. Let them panic. Let them cool off. Let them miss you." My mouth opened slightly. "Is that allowed?" "Baby," she whispered, "when 2 alphas are about to tear down a 5-star hotel because of you, anything is allowed." I choked out a small laugh, even though nothing about this situation felt funny. She tapped my shoulder gently. "Go home. Take a break. Regain your sanity. And for the love of peace, stop letting those 2 throw expensive gifts at you. You'll end up on the news." Her words hit me harder than I expected. She was right. I needed a break. I needed to stop being the battleground for 2 obsessive alphas before my heart or my mind exploded. So, after my shift, I walked to HR, filled out a resignation letter, and submitted it quietly. I half expected a thunderous growl to echo through the hotel the moment I handed in the letter. But nothing happened. It felt strangely peaceful. And terrifying. The next morning, I woke up in my small apartment for the first time in months without an alarm or a manager yelling my name. Just me, my bed, and the quiet comfort of freedom. Then my phone buzzed. First Peter. Then Kale. Then Peter. Then Kale again. I turned the phone on silent and tossed it aside like a grenade. Just in case, I added the second part of Ms. Rena's plan. I texted both of them saying, "I'm sick and taking time off. I want to be alone. Please don't come over." I spent the next few days doing absolutely nothing. Sleeping. Eating snacks. Watching dramas. Playing games. Trying on the expensive clothes they bought me, opening boxes, and admiring shoes worth more than my rent. I lounged in bed like a spoiled prince with no responsibilities. I didn't feel guilty. Not even a little. I didn't know how long my peace would last. Or how the 2 alphas would react once they discovered I'd quietly disappeared from the hotel. For 2 peaceful days, I lived like a retired king. I ate snacks, watched dramas, and told myself I deserved this soft life. What I didn't expect was that 2 alphas would turn the city upside down looking for me. Apparently, they did. I didn't know it at first, of course. But on the 3rd morning, everything changed. I had just sat down with a warm cup of tea, wearing my fluffy pajamas and pretending to be sick, when I heard a soft knock. I opened up and saw Peter, holding a bouquet of flowers large enough to block half my doorway. His smile widened when he saw me. "There you are," he said gently. "Jace, you should have told me you were this sick." I instantly coughed dramatically like my lungs were collapsing. Best actor of the year. He didn't question it. Instead, he walked inside and placed a hand on my forehead like some prince from a fairy tale. "You're warm," he murmured. "I'll take care of you today." My soul quietly left my body. This was dangerous. He made soup, arranged my pillows, fussed over my temperature, and kept saying, "You really shouldn't be alone like this." I was starting to believe maybe this fake illness plan wasn't my smartest idea. But before I could overthink, the entire mood shifted. A loud, commanding knock shook the door. My heart fell into my stomach. Peter and I turned toward the door at the same time. "Were you expecting someone?" Peter asked. I shook my head violently. I shuffled over and opened it, and my soul evaporated into thin air. Kale was standing there, tall, furious, and surrounded by 4 men in black suits, all looking like they were ready to arrest a ghost. His eyes scanned the room, landed on Peter beside me, and the atmosphere froze. Kale's voice dropped dangerously low. He marched inside, grabbed Peter's wrist, and tossed his hand away from me. Then Kale held my wrist instead, firm, possessive, warm. Jace, he hissed softly, why didn't you tell me you resigned? I swallowed. I just needed rest. You should have told me, Kale said, voice rough. I would have handled it. Handled it? Sir, you are what I'm running from. Then Kale gently cupped my face and checked my temperature, as if he hadn't broken into my house with a search party. I'm taking you to the hospital. No. I jumped back, panicking. I'm fine. I just need sleep. Peter stepped between us. Kale, don't force him. Kale's eyes narrowed to deadly slits. Kale stepped forward. Neither of them backed down. And me? I stood in the middle like a frightened plant. Then the arguing began. Kale then asked Peter why he came here in the first place. I'm comforting him because you stressed him to death, Peter said sharply. Kale's expression changed. I nearly fainted from stress. Hours passed. Neither alpha left. They ordered food. They glared at each other. They checked my temperature every 20 minutes like competing nurses. I tried to sleep, but they each took a seat on opposite sides of my bed like two guard dogs. Finally, around 3 a.m., after the biggest ego battle of the century, both alphas fell asleep. In my house. Kale knocked out on my couch, arms crossed. Peter asleep on a blanket on the floor beside my bed. And me? I was curled up under my blanket, staring at the ceiling. 4 days after the chaos in my apartment, my mind spun non-stop. 2 alphas doing everything in their power to win me over. It should have felt flattering. But instead it felt like I was being torn in two. Kale with his cold, quiet protectiveness. Peter with his warm, gentle affection. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined the future with either one of them. And every time I opened my eyes, they were both standing there. Competing, arguing, fighting over every tiny thing. One evening, after watching them fight over who should hand me a glass of water, I snapped. I shut myself inside my bathroom and stared at my reflection. Tired eyes, flushed cheeks, suppressants scattered on the counter. This can't continue. I whispered. I have to choose. I can't let them keep fighting. It was the first time I admitted it out loud. I needed to end this, one way or another. But fate had other plans. Because that very night, as the moon rose higher, a strange warmth spread through my body. Slow at first, then suddenly scorching, rolling through my veins like fire. My breath hitched. My heat. It came too early, too strong, too powerful. My knees buckled as my pheromones burst through every suppressant I'd used, flooding the entire apartment like a tidal wave. Both alphas rushed toward me at the same time. And that was the moment everything exploded. Peter reached me first, his pupils blown wide, breathing ragged, fighting his instincts. He held the door frame like he was barely stopping himself from grabbing me. Jace, you're set. He whispered, voice rough. The way he stared at me, hungry, drowning, desperate, sent a shiver down my spine. But before he could take another step, Kale stormed in. His breathing was also heavy, eyes dark, lips parted like he was starving for me. But he stood still. He didn't touch me. He simply clenched his fists and forced himself to keep distance, even though my pheromones clearly tore him apart. Jace, he said, voice trembling with restraint, tell me what you want. That single sentence shattered something inside me. An alpha fighting his instincts during an omega's full heat? That wasn't normal. That was love. Peter tried to move closer again, breath hot, eyes glazed. Jace, please, I can't hold back anymore. And that was it. I knew who my heart had chosen. My voice shook as I whispered, both of you, come here. They stood before me, one burning with desire, the other burning with restraint. My heart pounded painfully. I looked at Peter first. Peter. I said softly, thank you for caring for me. His eyes widened slightly, hope flickering. Then I turned to Kale. My chest tightened. My alpha. I whispered. Kale, please mark me. The silence that followed could have swallowed the world. Peter's expression collapsed. His shoulders dropped. His lips trembled. His eyes glistened. With pure heartbreak, he whispered, barely audible. I lost. Then he stepped back slowly. 1 step, 2, 3. Before turning around and walking out of my apartment. He didn't look back. The door clicked shut behind him. And the air grew still. Kale stared at me, completely stunned. Jace? He breathed, stepping closer. You want me? I nodded. Yes. I choose you. Kale closed the distance between us instantly, his hands cupping my face so gently. His forehead rested against mine, his breath warm on my lips. You have no idea, he murmured, how long I've wanted this. Then he kissed me. This kiss was deep, slow and calming. His lips trailed down my jaw, my neck. And then, right over the spot where an alpha bonds his mate. He paused. Jace, he said in a low, shaky whisper, are you absolutely sure? My heart hammered. I'm sure. Then you're mine, he said, smiling. His teeth sank gently into my skin. Warm, firm, possessive. A soft gasp escaped me as the bond ignited between us like fireworks under my skin. Kale held me tighter as the mark sealed, wrapping me in warmth, strength, and the crushing feeling of being wanted. When it was done, he kissed me again. From that night on, Kale never left my side. He became gentler, more protective, more honest. And me? I finally stopped running. Weeks passed, then months. Our bond grew stronger, our love deeper. And one evening, under the city lights, Kale knelt in front of me with a small velvet box. Jace, he said softly, be mine officially. I said yes before he even opened the box. We got engaged. The cruel alpha who swore he hated omegas finally loved me more than he ever expected. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more amazing BL stories.